Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, welcome back to this episode. Today we're going to dive deep into how inflation is going to affect you and what you can do to be prepared for retirement when prices are going up like they are. And I'm sure you don't have to have me telling you that gas prices, food prices, real estate prices, all the prices that you're paying for stuff every day is going up. So how does that work when it comes to retirement, and how do you know if you can still retire? Right? These are the sort of things that you have to really nail down, at least have a plan for before you go into retirement. You don't want to get into retirement and then realize, hey, prices are going up faster than I thought. I can't afford to retire anymore, and you have to go back to work. That's the worst case, right? You don't want that to happen. I actually have many friends, many people I know, family members that are older that are retired, where they say stuff like, hey, I'm on a fixed income. I'm retired, I'm on a fixed income, and so I'm nervous, right? And so today we're going to talk about, hey, you don't want to be on a fixed income in retirement and the things that you can do not to be. So for you as a federal employee, because again, this channel is all for you as federal employees specifically, most of you are going to have three types of income. First, Social Security. Now, Social Security is a great piece of income, especially in times right now where inflation is a big deal, because Social Security is going to go up every year with inflation. They have cost of living adjustments, which is great. So that is a very, very nice thing to have. So when it comes to Social Security, that's not fixed. It's going to go up over time with inflation. So that is a great hedge against inflation. Now, let's talk about your pension. Your pension does have a cost of living adjustment, but there is a couple things you have to know. First, it's not a perfect match of inflation. So if inflation is 5%, then your cost of living adjustment is not going to be 5%. It's going to lag. I'm actually going to put a link below about a different article that I wrote that you can actually see how that's calculated, so you can find out what that might mean for you. But long story short, there is a cost of living adjustment, but it lags inflation if inflation goes over certain limits, right? So definitely check that out if you want to see the details there. So your pension, pretty good, but let me tell you one exception here. If you are a traditional FERS employee, okay, so not special provisions, right? If you're a traditional FERS employee, guess what? You do not get cost of living adjustments until age 62. So let's say you retire at 58. Well, that's 4 years between 58 and 62 that you don't get any cost of living adjustments. Let me tell you why that's important to know. Because let's say you retired last year and you're 58, and many of you watching this might have retired last year. Well, guess what? The next 4 years, if inflation is high, then that can really take a big chunk out of your buying power of your pension, because you don't get cost of living adjustments until 62, right? And they're not delayed till 62. You simply don't get those years of cost of living adjustments at all, right? That's how it works. So that is why it's so crucial that you have margin, that you have wiggle room in your plan, so that when stuff like this happens, that you have that room to say, okay, hey, it's not what I want, but I've got wiggle room. I still got the finances to live and to retire the way that I want. If you run the numbers and you're super, super tight, where it's like, okay, we barely have enough money to retire the way that we want, that makes me nervous, especially in today's environment, especially, right? So you want to have some margin so that if something like that happens, hey, you're going to be good to go. Again, and that's another reason why retiring at 62 is such a great, another perk of retiring at 62, because your cost of living adjustments kick in right away, which is great. Now, again, it doesn't mean everyone should retire at 62. There's so many circumstances where it makes sense to retire early and you can enjoy a great retirement. You just got to make the numbers work and be comfortable and confident no matter what inflation and what's going on in the world, right? And that brings us to point number 3, and that is your TSP, or your savings, wherever it is at, whether it's an IRA, whether your spouse has a 401k, whatever the savings that you're supposed to be investing, it is crucial that you have a plan for your investments. Think about it. Right now, the stock market, at least the last few months, if you're listening to this about when it came out, has had some trouble, right? The war in Ukraine has really got people uneasy, right? And so the stock market has really had some ups and downs, right? So it is so crucial, especially as you're approaching retirement. Now, even if you're young in your career, it's crucial to have an investment plan, right? But especially as you approach retirement, you need an investment plan. Now, one mistake that I see more than ever, especially now when people get scared, is people are investing too conservatively. People say they don't want to lose the money they've worked so hard to save, and that is a valid point. It's scary, but guess what? Especially with inflation right now as it is, and with interest rates so low, you're not going to earn any money being conservative. If you're in the G fund, the F fund, right? Those are the conservative funds. And you're not going to earn much there, and you're going to be losing money after inflation. So if you want a guaranteed loss, you need to go to the D fund and F fund. Now, I'm not saying those funds are all bad. A piece of your money makes perfect sense to be in there. Certainly not the majority of it, though. Certainly not. Where you need to have a plan for your entire retirement. And right now it is scary, but we need to be looking at 10, 20, 30 years in the future and coming up with a plan that'll work for you now and then. And I actually did another video on how the exact strategy that you should be using when investing your TSP in retirement. So I'll put a link below to that as well. So those are the three big income sources you're going to have in retirement that you need to understand how they are going to change with inflation. Because again, if you invest your TSP too conservatively, you're not going to get the growth that you need over time to maintain your standard of living, right? If your money doesn't grow or you lose purchasing power over time, you are going to be able to spend less money, right? Bottom line is that your purchasing power, your standard of living cannot stay the same if your money is decreasing, right, after inflation. So that's huge, 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 huge. So again, some really, really helpful links to some other videos I did, so check that out in the links below, in the description below. And also, for 2022, we created, here at the firm, we created a TSP cheat sheet, which has all the key facts and things that you need to know about your TSP and about the funds and how much you can control, all the stuff, all the key questions that you should be asking about the TSP for 2022. And there is a one-page PDF summarized. It's pretty. You can get it below. It's free, completely free, so check that out. That could be very, very helpful as well. So if you have any questions or if you have any fears about the rising prices and what that means for you, put in the comments below on the YouTube channel, and we'll certainly all help each other to make sure that we can all retire confident, get the most out of your benefits, and have an incredible retirement. So I hope that was helpful. Have an incredible rest of your day, and I'll talk soon.